Okay, so what we are doing, we support the data center and service providers to bring up the data center to a higher standard, more stability, more reliability, higher performance, and the avocado is for us just a metaphor on how we set up our services, how we go around it. The heart of everything is ITIL, the IT infrastructure library, with its 5 volumes, where the first four volumes describe how you set up a volume, how you set up a service, how you design a service, and the 5th volume is around continuous service improvement. So how do you keep your service up and running? And service in this case doesn't mean only IT services, it means actually any service. And out of this continuous service improvement, we look actually at the 7-step improvement process. The first step is identify what you want to improve. What is your service? Where are you with your existing infrastructure? Then second step is define what you want to measure. Your measurements need to be in place in order to really understand what your customers are doing with your infrastructure and how your infrastructure responds to the different requests from the customer. Then you need to collect the data. You need somehow you did all these measurements, but without further processing, this data is useless. So you need to collect the data, then you need to process the data. The data need to be understandable by a machine. It need to be computer manageable. Right now, many of the sensors or many of the informations that you get from the outside world is just a text file. It's just something that is unstructured data. You need to get this unstructured information into structured information in order to push this into a database, in order to have an AI, some computing power to look at the information and find out what is going on. This is then the 5th step, where you process the data and where you get in and understand from the past. You have knowledge from the past that you have applied to a software, and now you see if you can find patterns again that create these type of issues that you have seen in the past. Then you go in and visualize the information to present this to the customer, make a presentation out of it, make some HTMLs out of it, some Excel files, whatever fits the need in order to convey the message over to the other side. And then you have to implement the changes. So we recommend a list of usually between 100 and 150 changes in an infrastructure in order to reach a higher level of stabilization, a higher reliability, a better performance in the infrastructure. Now you need to implement these changes. Then there's usually a gap of a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and then the cycle starts again. It never ends. It's a never-ending story. It's a merry-go-around for years in order to keep what you have available. As soon as you stop, you fall back and you get into trouble. Everybody changes, every microcode, every driver, every operating system, everything is changing. So you need to keep on the run with these changes in order to keep your infrastructure stable. And this is what the 7-step improvement process is. And actually when you come over here, let me... So we have this presentation that actually shows all of the steps, all of the things that we need to do. We show you the end user and his bright ideas of what he wants to do with the infrastructure. He has an IT service provider. The IT service provider has humans and technology. This human and technology need to somehow talk to the technology and has configuration tools, all types of things. And the communication between hardware, software, services, and design with the humans can be pretty unstructured. So if this unstructured part is reaching a certain level, then we get into an incident. We get performance issues, access loss, data loss. It can end up in a complete data center outage. We have unfortunately seen that. The consequences, of course, financial impact, high workload, loss of time, is dissatisfied users and reputation decrease is for a service provider today where he has a cloud service even worse than anything else. So this is getting him out of business. One performance problem can create that type of situation. So where we come in is in the middle between the human and the technology part. We are the translator backward and forward with our data center configuration management tools and our data center systematic and analytics that we put onto this. So this is the cycle that we have seen before on our chart. Yeah. And these are the services that we have put around this ITIL 7-step improvement cycle, where we come into a data center as an architect. We see if your architecture even gives you a fighting chance to get to a performing, reliable and stable infrastructure. We help you to look at your physical layout, at your logical layout, at your monitoring data. We have a little tool called DC360 Octopus. It's DC360 for 360 degrees, and Octopus. He has so many arms, grabbing into all of the resources in your infrastructure and sucking out the support data. The support data that you would have to send to a vendor who might need to be able to understand what's happening in his system. But today's data center, they are not longer just comprised out of a single vendor. So in the past we had the true blue data centers where you have only IBM in your data center. Today you get you have a rainbow of vendors in your infrastructure, and as soon as a problem shows up and you tick the first vendor on the shoulder and says, hey, this might be your problem, he looks at his data and says, oh, sorry, go to the next guy, he might have a problem. And now you get a merry-go-around going where everybody points to everybody and you still have your problem. So this is where we come in, we pull all the data together, we put this into our DC360 Dolphin engine. He knows from the past 15, 20 years, problems that we have seen in the infrastructure, in data centers, and he is now matching all of the things that we have. So he will spit out quite an elaborate list of things that need to be changed. And then Manati, DC360 Manati, is our visualization engine for the customer. It will visualize the problems. And then in the 7th step, we will do planning, education, and programming in order to implement these changes. So we have the full cycle, the full ITIL 7-step improvement cycle covered with our services. And here comes the avocado, why it is an avocado. The stone, the middle part, the hard part. This is our think ahead and investigation service. Think ahead means I don't have a problem yet, but I would make sure, so let's have a look and see if really everything is okay. Investigation means, guys, the kid is down the well, now you need a rope and pull the kid out. So we are your rope and pulling the kid out of the well in order to get your infrastructure back going. The pulp, the surrounding pulp to the stone, is architecture, education, and planning. So these are the 3 things that you need in order to move forward, to keep your things going in your infrastructure, and we help you to kick off this process in your infrastructure. Later on, we will pull ourselves out, but here is where we start the whole process, make sure that you have all of these things in place. And the peel, the surrounding peel, would be guidance, for instance, when you want to implement one of these bright new things that you see here in your infrastructure, and you want to make sure that the implementation of this stuff doesn't get you killed in your production environment. So this is the guidance that we can provide. We can also provide programming help with scripting of CLIs and so on. And the last thing is the communication of an IT service provider with his vendors. They speak English. They both speak English, or maybe the common language, but they don't understand each other. I have a problem, Mr. Vendor. Help me. And the vendor says, what is your problem? Tell me. I don't understand your problem. I have a problem. So now we take off the information from one side, filter this information so it will be reachable and understandable for a vendor. We can actually give the vendor a recreation procedure. This is what they usually like to see. how can I, in my own environment, without touching your production environment, recreate the problem so that I can put my programmers on it and change it. And this is what we have done in many cases where we understood the problem in the customer environment, we were able to describe it to a vendor, and all of a sudden it takes only a couple of days and we have a programming fix for the problem that we can give the customer, and everything works again. So these are the things that we want to describe as an avocado, from the inside out, from the stone of the heart of the service, via the flesh to the peel surrounding it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When did you launch this service?
I actually, or my colleague and myself, we together have 50 years of IBM experience.
Oh.
So he was 15 years with IBM, I'm 35 years with IBM, and I run this service for IBM infrastructures only, for blue infrastructures only, for the past 15 years. Over time, we saw that you don't have the blue data center anymore, you have a rainbow data center, but as an IBMer, I was not allowed to dig into these other vendors' resources and give recommendations to customers. Now, this brought me to the point where we said 2 years ago, in 2016, we need to do something different. We need to get ourselves into the shoes of the customer. He is the guy who has all of these rainbow resources, and he gets stuck in the middle of this middle where they go around and finger pointing and don't get the information out that they want. So this is where we said, okay, we will create this company, and actually starting next month I will be CTO of this company and will fully committed to this company. It took me 2 years to get out of IBM, and now I'm fully in IBM, in Knowledge River, to give these services to customers that we have built up over 15 years, with the experience of over 15 years in IBM.
Okay, what's your main target?
Main targets are actually any data center, and I especially worked for Middle East Africa. So I lived for 2 years in Dubai, where we supported all data center airways, banks, security, insurance companies, oil manufacturers, everybody who has a data center that has more than 2 storage devices, and a number of SAN switches, number of servers surrounding it. These are the data centers that we are looking at. I had a very large customer in South Africa, where we talked about 20 DS8000s, 5,000 SAN ports, and several hundred server. So it scales, and it actually is scaling better in larger environments. So smaller environments cannot benefit as much from the service as the bigger data centers.
Yeah. Why don't you deploy your service in Japan?
We are available around the world. We have customers in India, we have customers in the States. We deploy everywhere. Just come to our website. We actually look for partners in the region who can speak the local language. So usually these are the IBM or any vendor's sales forces that go out to customers, speak the language. They have technicians, but they lack the experience. They don't have the long time experience in these data centers to really understand what is going on. When one little parameter is wrong, this can cause major issues during disaster recovery, during an high availability failover mechanism between sites. So if you have that knowledge, you can look at data completely different than somebody who's just coming from a university and got his degree in this area. willing to learn, but he doesn't have the experience. And we want to pass on our experience to the new guys, to the new generation, and make sure that this information is not lost with us going out of business, going into retirement. So I'm now 58 years old, and in Germany they told me already, Jens, go home. You're old enough. You're going to retirement. I don't want to. I don't want to. I have another 10, 15 years, 20 years to give to the community, and I want to give this information back that I have learned and earned over so many years.
Yeah. You have experience. You're not too old. You're still young. 58. Yeah. So I hope we can see in Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to.
So interesting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.